Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the next wave in Industry Leaders Live. And this morning we are welcoming Doug Greenwood, who is the Director of Sales and Marketing at Cheval Residences Service Departments and Chairman, of course, of the Association of Service Department Providers. Doug, good morning to you.
Good morning. Morning, James. And morning, everyone.
So we'll just dive straight into this. Doug, tell us a little bit about your role at Chevelle and how it has developed over the last few years.
Good. Well, even in the introduction, it's quite useful that we've sort of moved on from Cheval Residences to creating what is the Cheval Collection. So I think I came into the service department industry a few years ago and have really enjoyed the pace at which things are changing, which is just fantastic. For Cheval, we've got our core 8 residences in London, which have been around for a little bit of time, 38 years. But for us, it's been a question of looking at the success of what we have within the residential residence offering. And now we've actually built a collection. So we have Cheval Residences as a brand. We've created Cheval Maison, which is still prime locations, slightly more apartments in terms of utilization of space within a building. But we have 2 under construction currently, the first over in Frankfurt, the second in Dubai. And actually we've created another quite fun brand called My Lacanda. So again, this is something that will form, it's under construct from the point of view of the actual brand itself. So we've pretty much got there in terms of finalizing it, but it's going to be a really fun addition to Cheval Collection. So yeah, I think for me, in terms of how that sits, time does not stand still. We're constantly looking at new opportunities and new ways of working within the sector. And of course, it's really complementing some of the really fun things we do, obviously, within ISAAP and my position as chair, which has been really, really rewarding.
So talking about expansion, you recently announced further expansion with the Edinburgh Grand and Old Town Chambers now being added to the portfolio. Whilst most organisations are being cautious during this pandemic, Cheval seems to be driving that forward. So tell us why you think now is the time to expand and grow.
So yeah, a really great opportunity actually to locate, obviously still within the UK, but taking on 2 really amazing locations in Edinburgh. The Cheval, the Edinburgh Grand, sits just off by St Andrew's Square, 50 apartments and designed to really high spec. The Cheval Old Town Chambers, again, really spot on location just off the Royal Mile, another 50 apartments, and actually with a further construction element taking place of about another 24 apartments, with some small food and beverage operation being considered too. So, I mean, great additions, and the product absolutely is in keeping with what we have on offer in London. So the 2 complement each other really, really well. I think the expansion element of it means we are going into really quite tough times. So the synergy between working between London and Edinburgh, 2 quite key financial areas, 2 really strong leisure locations. What we can do with working together between the 2 locations is a massive opportunity for us. So we are, yeah, it's a courageous move, but I think from the point of view of it's a great opportunity to bring 2 really outstanding locations together and market them accordingly. So we're very excited about the opportunity, and we're already working with some really professional teams actually up in Edinburgh to bring about an opening on the 1st of July.
I'm sure we're all looking forward to that. So as part of your other responsibility, if you weren't busy enough, you are the chairman of the ISAAP and have been for the last 2.5 years. You've helped us align our global vision through the Global Alliance of Serviced Accommodation. Personally, I can't thank you enough, Doug, for all the help and support you've given me over this period. But tell us why you believe the global conversation is so important for everyone in the industry at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, working with the ISAAP team is very, very rewarding. You've obviously got a great team working with you, James, but bringing in the advisory group and also the treasury group that work on behalf of the membership There's some great characters involved who, again, are all very much have got the industry at their hearts. They really want to make sure that we achieve some really great things for the sector. And I think for us, it's a question of really having to pull together, particularly in these challenging times, not only bringing talent in terms of within, say, the region, but then looking at that in a much more broader context of being able to look at how other like-minded associations can come and draw strength from each other. There's some great opportunities in terms of best practice. When you think about the actual sector itself, I mean, we are at a really momentous moment of being able to look and think, okay, what can a service apartment, what can the apart hotel element of what we've got, what can we offer compared to maybe the broader hospitality area? We've got the flexibility within the apartment of utilizing that space. We've got the area for maybe from a fitness perspective, the flexibility of being able to prepare food, the ease at which food can be actually delivered into apartments. That then becomes a workspace. So, the apartment then becomes an individual's own workspace with all the technology that's behind it. So actually, I think we're at a really momentous time now to draw and really promote the service apartment sector into an area that has suddenly started really recognizing in terms of the corporate market. It's really recognized it as being a serious offering within the leisure market, the multi-generational opportunities that we've got where people can use serviced apartments in terms of 2-3 bedroom apartments that suddenly provide a great opportunity to bring families together. Take that in the context of then other like-minded associations wanting to really promote how professional we present our offering to the client, whether they're a leisure or a corporate, then you combine that strength of distribution. And I think that's where we will get through what will be, we all know, will be extremely challenging. Hospitality sector is really having an absolutely tough time of it at the minute. But I think with people that will, again, have got like-minded views, they can pull resource, join together and collaborate. And I think that's where the greatest strength within GSAA will be. And I think, James, I think the job that you guys are doing on the back of the accreditation process, then that's really how we're going to make our mark in the next 6-12 year or two, as far as really ensuring that we secure this sector going forward.
And accreditation has been a huge part of ISAAP's DNA, certainly for the last 7 years, and you and Chevelle have been a huge supporter of that. What benefits have you seen as an organisation, and what, in your opinion, needs to happen for ISAAP to deliver its aspirations of buyers' complete support for what we're doing?
I think I mean, the association has been working with accreditation for quite some time. Again, this is a momentous moment to really push forward in terms of ensuring that we get that message out into the wider market. For Chevelle, it's always been highly regarded as a feather in the cap with regard to achieving the recognition that it brings. And I think actually we run a professional outfit, but the team in terms of the ISAAP team challenge what we're doing. So it gives us peace of mind, one, that we're doing from an internal perspective, we're getting things right, but the ISAAP team are making sure that we're aligned. And then from a broader perspective, it's an amazing tool to be able to promote actually and say, look, this is really a legitimate accreditation process, completely transparent from the point of view of the number of checks that take place to actually ensure the key duty of care which corporates and leisure customers are looking for. They want that reassurance to know this is not some sort of smoke and mirrors type of certification and a bit of a badge that you can actually just put onto your website. This has got real legitimacy. And I think that's probably where we need to push forward now and make sure people realize how authentic that really does represent in terms of the checks that have taken place. Every customer that we're talking to at the moment is constantly talking about the guest journey. What's the COVID-19 experience going to be moving forward to ensure that we make sure we have a really secure, as secure as possible, an experience for every customer that is going to be entering our buildings. ISAAP's recommendations underlie what we need to be doing within the sector and for Chevelle. So we are absolutely embracing all of that to ensure we have a market advantage over so many other areas. And I think, you know, when you then combine the flexibility of the apartments, the fact that the people need to be a little bit more isolated within that space, absolutely, they can choose as to how they want to actually, you know, work their lives combined with their working space, their working environment. So yeah, it's been a long time in the making, I think, but I think now is the moment when ISAAP will really shine. And again, within the context of that, having a global reach. And James, the team have done an incredible job making sure that it is not just purely a UK-centric operation, it is global. And the more authenticity and more companies that we can get to encourage to take on what we're doing and get that message to the customer is really ready to know that serviced apartments are a really professional offering at the moment.
And I think the work that you've helped us deliver with regards to the collaboration with the Corporate Housing Providers Association and the conception of the global alliance that we talk about so often now is really going to come to the fore, isn't it? And you guys have been a tremendous supporter of that, so thank you very much.
Well, again, it's back to partnerships, and CHPA, again, are great people to work with. Marianne and Lee, obviously, again, they're top of their game in terms of what they're doing for that organisation. And I think there's a broader group of other associations that hopefully can come in within the GSAA fold, which I know you're working on and the team are generally working on, which is fantastic.
So as a bit of a side then, a final question to you, if I may. An entrepreneurial theme seems to run through your family, Doug. I understand your teenage sons have developed a successful bespoke online food delivery service in your hometown. Do you regret any choices you've made in your career? And what would you have done differently if you could turn the clock back?
Do you know, yeah, I'm super proud of what my three boys are doing, actually. So it sort of came about that Greenwood Grocers was formed right at the very beginning of obviously what the sort of lockdown period, and it was on the back of realizing just how stretched supermarkets were and how long the queues were just to try and manage around just getting provisions. So the lads actually thought, how can we best serve the community? They're young, they're under the age of whatever, and they could fit in well to be able to actually go out and help that community really within the lockdown period to help them get hold of fresh fruit and vegetables. So yeah, they've built quite a loyal support, and particularly around the whole social media platform, which has been very supportive, and there's a very strong community spirit to what they're doing. They're doing well. So from my side, that entrepreneurial element, I don't have any regrets from the point of view of what, you know, if I had my time again, I think hospitality's got so much to offer. I think that our big challenge moving forward, though, is we are going to need some serious entrepreneurial skills, some real creativity to make sure we get ahead of what has been a really tough year so far, and to bring in some really creative ideas, elements for that guest to ensure that they want to keep on booking serviced apartments going forward, and to support each other within the sector. So the more that we can draw into our respective cities, then the greater the opportunity to get this sector back on its feet again. I think we are going to have to be very resourceful and ensure that we can, again, I think through the association, through sharing ideas, making sure that people realize what the best practice elements are. I think there's so much that, you know, Chevelle are quite fortunate in that we've got some strength in terms of the number of apartments that we have. But also I think we can support other, perhaps slightly smaller operations in terms of best practice. We are a referral point. The whole association is geared up to give opportunity to other smaller companies that may need some support, may need help. It's a tough environment to be operating in at the moment. So the more that we can push forward together, the greater our overall success will be.
And there's no lack of effort and enthusiasm and energy at the moment. That's what we're seeing. So,
yeah, I mean, I think ISAAP has done an incredible job when you think of the amount of messaging. Okay, there's a lot of messaging going on at the moment, but the amount of messaging that's been happening has been fantastic, extremely supportive. James, some of your webinar stuff has been, again, really excellent. It's exactly what the marketplace is looking for. And it's, these are the areas where members are turning to the association and needing support. At the same time, obviously, the association needs support from its membership. So as we come round to whatever the rebooting and hopefully as we get towards the end of our financial year, we'll see the support that ISAAP has offered its membership can only just keep that loyalty within the fold. We really do need the association. And whilst, there's elements that, the advisory group and the treasury group do for free, there's also some significant costs that do need to be supported. And, you guys are really making sure every pound is completely well utilized. You're scrutinized, as you know, but we know that you're absolutely on it from the point of view of protecting our membership and positioning our membership as best as possible for the future. But yeah, it's a thank you to you and the team from us, the membership, to say thanks, James, and to the guys. You've done a great job so far. Let's keep it going.
Well, that wasn't the purpose of the interview. It was more about understanding.
Well, it's always good to recognise.
So thank you very much.
Good to recognise it, though, James. I think you guys have done really, really well. Let's keep it going.
And the team appreciate that very much. So, Doug, thank you so much for your time today. Really interesting talking to you, and I'm sure those that pick up on the interview will have lots of feedback, and we'll get it back to you that way. So, Doug, thanks very much indeed for your time.
Thank you, James.